Fans, how we doing? Dylan Saucedo here, and we are back for Man of the Match. Seawolves coming off a very close loss down in Houston, ended 25-28. Yet another match that simply could have just gone either way. So excited to see kind of how the rest of the season plays out for them. Two more matches left for the guys back in Tukwila. One left in Tukwila, one back in San Diego. This weekend playing RFC LA on Saturday, and then next weekend heading down to San Diego for a big clash against the Legion. And that game will have a lot of playoff predicaments to it. Kind of the 2 and 3 seed going at it to see who gets that home field advantage for July 20th in that first round of the playoffs. So we're going to go ahead and invite Devin and get him right in here. Rolling here. Devin Short's our fourth of the match today, and we're going to get started with him. He's going to join here in a second, and we should be good to go. So excited to get him on. Devin, how's it going, my man?
What's up, bro? Nothing much, just hanging out.
Sorry, had a few difficulties getting in, but getting started here now. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. So, for those of you who don't know my guy here, Devin's the 21st player in MLR history to have reached 50 caps and matches the MLR with 7 seasons of professional belt. He spent time in a few teams around the league as well as the R7 circuit, and then has a cap for the USA 15 squad back in September. After making 15 tackles and creating a few turnovers, Devin finds himself as the Seawolves forward of the match. So Devin, thanks for joining us here today. My name is Dylan Saucedo, play rugby at the University of Utah. So fellow rugby here talking to you. Ready to talk some rugby and just chat, a little bit about the season, about yourself and your own rugby journey as well. So very excited for that today. And again, thanks for joining us. First thing, starting with the match. Tough loss for you boys down in Houston. Obviously full credit to the Houston guys. A great squad over there. They bring, 23 on the field who can play great rugby. You guys did too. And, it kind of just didn't go your way this time. Few mistakes there, and the defensive things, a little bit. Line out just kind of got held up a few times, so you weren't able to find kind of those opportunities to throw those extra tries to get those extra points. Talk about what the mindset was going into this match for the guys. Obviously, we're looking forward to this one, trying to get it back from earlier in the year, like kind of going into.
Going into a team like Houston, it's gonna be a physical game. They're always one of the more physical teams in the league. So we were just going into it, just knowing that we were going to be physical. We were going to have to match up to them, match up to the physicality, make sure we brought, everything that we could for the game, and, kind of like you said, we just ended up kind of, mistakes here and there. You just end up beating yourself, and playing a team like Houston, they'll just capitalize on those mistakes. And, so they were the better team on the weekend. We did what we could, but if there was a few things here and there that we just kind of cleaned up, it would have been a lot different.
Definitely, that game could have gone either way, like we said. A couple of those little errors, and it's really just how the weekend game of rugby. Every other day, there's going to be some guys who either make a mistake, right? That's just how the game works, right? So, great to see kind of a great match of rugby. First of all, you guys were able to react to those, big there in the end of the match. It was really exciting to watch there towards the end. So, one thing I've seen this squad over the years does shift around a little bit, and towards the end of the backs, actually, you guys have been able to kind of, come together and big wins out of that as well. Bread and butter has been really the set piece, I guess, this season for you guys. And it seems like rugby, from half, set pieces seem to be, more of a bond between the guys, right?
Sure.
Know what they're going to do coming out from the line, get into the moves in the line out, all those kinds of things. You got to know the guy next. You guys look like you kind of know that. To me, it seems like everybody's trusted in their spot, and bring in guys each week to kind of make that happen. Putting in the last 2 weeks, come back from the sickness this season, and get back on that battle, getting back on the pitch. You were able to grab the man of the match this last week, and talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, being a forward, you just have to, you have to back your boys. We train it all week. Just gotta trust that everyone knows their job, and if they don't, there's nothing you can do to fix it in the moment. So you just, if you need to, check your role before you go in, cool, ask questions. We have to have that bond enough to where we can ask those questions and know that, you know, in the moment we could back each other and make sure we get it done. Coming back from the injury or the sickness and everything like that, it was definitely kind of worrying and going into those games being like, uh, it's I don't even know. It's like you kind of like apprehensive almost, but I mean, just kind of backing my muscle memory and going into it, it got exciting. You can kind of feel the cobwebs kind of shake off and you kind of get around the boys and the boys are hyping you up and you're running after someone scores a try and you guys are laughing and cheering and doing all that. It's kind of what makes it worth it.
Oh, definitely. And you talk about kind of, those challenges, getting back on the pitch. What's it like to, prepare for an MLR match 1 week away, 2 weeks away, kind of, trying to prepare for those games? You talk about kind of the jitters. Obviously, every rugby match is going to be those kind of jitters. How do you get that out on the field, coming back from, taking the break for the season, getting back on the pitch? How do you prepare for a game like
You just get around the boys. It was definitely nerve-wracking. It had been probably 8 or 9 months since I'd even done anything to train or to prepare to tackle or do anything like that. So, the nerves get there, but having the guys around you, allowing them to be like, yo, you got this, like you're good. You're gonna get out there and just, do your job. It's been awesome. You know what I mean? Like, playing for so long as well. Like I said, you kind of just fall back into muscle memory. You just gotta back yourself. It's one of the biggest things because like you can get in your own head and think that, oh, I don't know, it's been so long, blah 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 blah. But if you start to psych yourself out, that's what's gonna kind of make you'll fall into that hole. You kind of create it for yourself.
that?
Whereas if you just understand that it's all mental and you just gotta back. If you're confident and back yourself, then kind of just falls into place, goes the way that you want it to.
Yeah. No, when you talk about that, playing the game for so rest, a month rest, couple months rest, whatever that is, coming back to the game and it,
Hey, you're kind of cutting out, bro. I can't really hear you, to be honest.
ooh, sorry about that, brother. We all good now?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now. Just looks like it's kind of loading, but
Sorry.
yeah, I got you.
We doing good now?
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Sorry, what I was saying was that, coming back from the injuries and stuff like that, really muscle memory like you talked about, and have that idea to ask some questions to guys, talk to guys, get kind of your job, great stuff. That the last 2 weeks really put in the field. It's been great to watch. One of the things we talked about was asking questions to those guys, and my favorite part of the game is questions, right? Being on a team, a lot of guys with some international time, a lot of guys with Super Rugby time, all kinds of different knowledge. And it's really a great thing to be able to ask guys questions like that, and then also kind of give feedback as well, right? Because I'm sure some of those guys will maybe ask questions, right? Even talking to like Coach Latho, he even said like I'm learning stuff this, right? Like being around a bunch of these different guys, asking them questions, them asking me questions. It really helps me learn. What have you been able to ask? I guess over the 2 weeks, but what have you been able to get out of the guys?
Well, I mean, it's just knowing that they've been in like high level, like environments like that. Just knowing that they know what they're talking about, and sometimes being around the guys like that, when they talk, you listen. And I've spent most of my career in the MLR, mainly MLR. I've been on, I've gone overseas and played a little bit, like just in like small tournaments and stuff, but like I've never really truly been in an environment that's like, say Super Rugby or to say like, top 14, Pro 14, Premiership, whatever anything else is, and so I just want to be able to watch and learn and take what I can from those guys. And because at the end of the day, they've been at the highest levels. They played in World Cups. They've played for their countries. They've done all this stuff, and it's stuff that is really like invaluable. And I'm still relatively young for my career. I'm 26. I'm about to be 26 this upcoming week, and so I still have the guys who've played in the 30s, and they've had another 5-6 years on top of what I've already done. So um, yeah, just like asking the questions and just, I like to just see how they hold themselves. I like to just like, just being around them, it's just kind of like osmosisly absorbs into like kind of what you learn and you develop, it's pretty cool, and it's cool knowing that there are guys who've done it, and now they're on kind of on the backside their career, so it's like just following them. I'm roommates with Ali Khalifi, and we're talking stories, talk about the old boy, like the old times and how it was before the MLR, before I was even playing, and like stuff like that. And so it's it's cool just being able to call those guys teammates and friends. Oh, I lost you again, brother.
No, nothing.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe if I went inside.
A little bit better now.
Yeah, I think I just have to get closer to my Wi-Fi.
No worries there. So happy early birthday to you.
I
Talk about that
appreciate it, bro.
there. One of my favorite parts about this season for me has been able to talk to these guys like Sam Windsor, other guys, Mack Mason, but talking to those guys and really just taking in that information, right? Kind of talk about that, talking with Ollie and all these different guys who have that kind of high level experience. What's it been like to talk to those guys on the pitch, getting that kind of feedback? Uh, hey, do it next time, whatever that may be. Uh, yeah, guys.
Like I said, you just kind of when they talk, you listen. If they've been around the guys, they've played with guys who've been in my position before, who they see how they move, they see how they run their lines, they see like so when they talk, and they kind of tell me, oh, just run it more this way, or if like you're gonna step out and then come in a little bit more, run it this hole, stuff like that. I'm like, all right, sweet, I got you. It's just gonna make me a better player, right? And Sam Windsor been playing against him for years, since 2018. So it's cool to finally be able to like play with him, you know. So Mackie, old Mac boy, you're talking with him after me. He's a good leader. I like playing with him. You know, like I said, when he talks, you listen. And with him being my fly half, I kind of have to listen to him a little more. So yeah, I don't know. I just I'm one of those guys who I like to just put my head down and grind, and I'm gonna do what I can to contribute to the team. I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that we all win, and I don't like to just play for myself. I'm gonna try and bring the energy, try to bring what I can to help the team succeed, and anything that I could do to do that, then I'm gonna if they tell me to run a line like this, all right, I got you. You know, I'm gonna go for the breakdowns. If they tell me to stay out the breakdowns, I don't know, maybe I won't, but but everything else, man, I could just it's just something I add to my game.
Real, cool to kind of see how that comes. Talking to all these guys, get their feedback and their knowledge of the game, and then seeing them really put it on the field, right? It's just been amazing to kind of see how that's working. And side of the team like you, other guys, bringing that young, that kind of putting your head down and uh, great piece of it's all great guys in the game that we're all able to kind of put our head down and grind. Share the information with each other, get those kind of things out. Oh, I think we're breaking down a little bit here. I think we lost Devin here for a second. Having some issues with the Wi-Fi here today. Hopefully we can get all right. Be good to go now.
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. All right, sorry, brother.
It happened. It's Instagram Live and it happens all the time. So no worries
gotta
there. Um,
gotta love technology, eh?
yeah, man, yeah. So yeah, and it's just a great piece of the game to hear younger guys like you putting your head down, grinding, being able to ask those kind of questions, really take in what's being around you, right? The environment that you're in. It's just a great environment. Being able to kind of do that. Obviously, talk about the game. What are the takeaways from that game? game, kind of something to build on?
I think some of the biggest things we can take from that game are just like not compounding on our errors. You know, if like something happens, you kind of just have to like wipe it. Like if you drop a ball, if we mistouch, if we, if I give a penalty in the breakdowns, like just understand that like there's nothing you can do about it now. There's no reason you could argue, no arguing with the ref. Like he's not going to change his opinion about what he just called. No matter how like mad it makes you, you just have to understand that like, all right, that's done and dusted. You have to worry about what's next. We still have 20 minutes on the clock. 20 minutes, a lot can happen, especially if we're only down by 7 or only down by 10. Like, you just have to make sure that you can control what you can control and just make sure that you move on. And, if I miss a tackle, I can't dwell on missing that tackle. I have to get back up, get back into the line and, do my next job. Because the longer you sit there and just kind of dwell about it and shake your head and mope and do all that, they're fucking scoring. Like they're going and scoring. So you just have to make sure that, short memory like a goldfish, just get on with it.
No, that's right. Like, memory of a goldfish. Next chapter. I've heard those things quite a few times, right? And I kind of had that same problem in my rugby. Playing scrum half, got to be a little bit mouthy, right? Got to talk a little bit of game. You got to control it at some point too, right? There's times in the game where it's just not needed. Other times in the game where it's a little bit needed, but at the same time you got to bring focus back to the game, the job at hand, the task at hand, and really just launch, I guess, have you guys back. So it's great to hear kind of how you think about that. That's worked out for you. Great to talk about the game, this season a little bit, with the player a little bit. From my research, what I've read about you, it seems like your rugby journey started just like any one of Americans, playing a little bit of American football, going through high school, finding the game. Tell me about your rugby journey. How did you find rugby, and what's made you?
So I started when I was 17. So it's just after my senior football season. High school, I played football 4 years of high school. Then I ran track, I wrestled, I played volleyball. I was in the marching band. Did a little bit of everything in the school. And I don't know, after my football season, I was always an O lineman, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. Never really got to be like the athlete I wanted to be. So my buddy came up to me and asked me if I wanted to start playing rugby, and I was like, I don't even know what rugby is, and like I've already signed a D2 scholarship, like I'm good, bro. So he bugged me for about a month to come out and try it, and then I was just finally like, okay, I'll try it. Like, why not? I'll just stay fit, get ready to go play college, blah blah blah. But then I started playing. I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I get to actually touch the ball, I get to run, I get to make tackles, I get to lose the pads, stuff like that. So tried it after my first game, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Like I'm gonna play the rest of the season. So, but within like the 6 months, I made high school Americans, went to Canada and represented the United States, and I was like, I can do something with this. Like I'm going to play D2 football, like cool, but like I never really liked football in that way. I felt like I never really got to like express myself as a player. Never really was in the right position. Rugby gave me the freedom to do everything. So I just went to college. I ended up getting hurt like 3 days into the spring camp, and that's when it was just like, yeah, I don't want this anymore. I dropped out, ended up pursuing rugby. Went and played D2 in Vegas for the Las Vegas Irish, and then went to an Atavis camp, and then went on a show called Next Up Big Hopeful. Went on that show. Mike Friday and Carl Niles, they ended up choosing me from that show. So I won the show and went to the USA Sevens, and then from there was there for 4 months, down in Chula Vista, them, and then after that, that was the first year of the MLR, and Rob Hoadley talked to Mike Friday, and they ended up picking me up, and it's kind of the rest is history from there. Now we're 56 caps in and 7 years down the road, and it's been a great time.
That's a great story, man. And it's cool to hear, an American like myself kind of get the ranks and really find a place in this game, right? Obviously, our country is one kind of, but I guess in terms of growing this game, they kind of spread across the country. I think at the front of that, right? Go to all, not even go to the game and get some opportunity to show your stuff and be that kind of guys want to pick you up a lot. It's cool to watch. It's really cool to kind of see how that's kind of fruition, 7 years down the road. Kind of going back to, talking about your Chula Vista, being able to go and talk USA Friday, wearing that USA game at a high level, that kind of squad. Obviously, you were 19 at that age, young to the game as well. What was that experience like? How did it help you grow as both a young man and that team that All-American squad getting that?
It was definitely interesting. I feel like I kind of just got, thrown to the wolves a little bit. I'd only been playing rugby maybe like 8 months, and then I was like down with the USA Sevens team, and like they're running their drills. I don't even know how to pass a ball. Like I was just an athlete who would grab a ball and just run, and I'm definitely not the fastest anymore when you're running against like Perry Baker and Carl Niles. So it's like you're out there, and then you got kind of going against Danny Barrett trying to tackle him and do all that stuff. So like I said, I kind of felt thrown to the wolves, but at the end of the day, like it was a place for me to learn. It was a place for me to grow. Like I've always kind of felt like, give me my opportunity and I'll make the best of it. Like all I need is an opportunity. And if I mess up and I don't make, don't do the best with that opportunity that I had, then, that's on me. But that still gives me the control, right? You can only control what you can control. You can control the opportunity that you're given. So if I have an opportunity to go down with USA Sevens, I'm gonna do everything that I can there to try and break the squad. If I didn't make that squad, that's where I got the opportunity with San Diego Legion. They sent me down there and, took advantage of that opportunity. So it's just kind of like doing the best with what you're given and to make what you can of it, right? So that was kind of the biggest thing. Can't hear. Uh,
Good?
I'm gonna try and take you off my headbuds. See if that. Hello.
Yeah.
Try and talk.
Yeah. Doing good?
Yeah, I think I hear you now. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, your journey. Talked about getting into that MLR season. That probably, uh,
I can't hear you, brother.
we're doing.
I can't hear you. I'm trying, man.
It might be I'm not sure what's going on here. Doing solid now.
Yeah.
Sorry, my question there was just you've been with 3 different teams, 3 different cities. What's that experience been like for you, and how have you been able to?
Being with the 3 different cities has been cool because every single one is different, right? Like going from San Diego, where it's like a beach town, and everyone's super laid back. It's like you're down you're down in New Orleans, and you're around people who are, super like loyal and bought into their teams and stuff like that. But like they're super like invite you into their homes and like make you dinner and like want to like get to know you on like a deeper basis. And then now to move to Seattle, where it's like it's a completely different place as well, where it's like green and nature and mountains and all this stuff. It's been pretty crazy. I loved New Orleans. I love the people there. Like I still talk to many of them on a consistent basis. And that was the cool thing about there is because they treat you like family. That's shout out Dennis, shout out all my people. I see him is on the thing right now, Bayou Rugby. You know, Leah, I don't know, all my people. Now I'm being in a new place where it's like I get to build those other relationships now, where I get to meet new people up here, and I'm more in a place like I love the trees, I love the mountains, me and my dog go hiking all the time up here now. We're going to the lakes, I'm just each place has been different, and it's had its own you know its own impact on me in their own separate ways, which I'm super grateful for, and it's cool because
each place that you go, you'll have your fans and you'll have the people who actually become friends and like still keep in contact with you, you know, and but each place is different. Each place is different, but relatively the same. It's pretty cool.
Great experience for you as well, right? Being able to kind of, obviously play with a bunch of different guys at those three squads. Now being able to play against those guys, Sam, playing against him for so many years, play with him now is probably pretty cool for you as well. And I think one of the coolest parts of the game too is I grasped on early on in my.
Man, I'm missing the whole back end of this. I heard the beginning of it.
Give him on his first day. What would you say to him?
You have to repeat like the back end of that question. Olivia said to mute myself, and it actually started to work. So I'm gonna try it again. All right, sorry, bro.
So what I was gonna say was that you've been able to play in these three different cities. What advice would you give to Devin Short on his first day at San Diego Legion?
Oh man, I would say, put your head down and grind. Stay focused. Don't fall too much into the extracurriculars, and just learn everything that you can, and make sure that you practice the basics. Practice more of the basics, like actually learn how to read the field, learn catch pass, stuff like that. Because I feel like one of my biggest downfalls in the at least first half of my career that I really started to focus on near the end of like NOLA was like focusing on my like skills, like my basic catch pass, my handling, reading the fields, practicing the 2-on-1s instead of just running. You know what I mean? Because I know I've always been an athlete to run and to be able to like break the line and to like carry hard and make tackles and do all that stuff. But what's going to set me apart is going to be the ball handling, being able to move, like pass into space and then follow on support or stuff like that. Where like in the beginning of my career was definitely just like see ball, get ball, and catch the ball and run. So where anybody can do that, but what's going to set me apart, right? So definitely working on like my ball handling and the small basics of what the game actually is. Like, what is rugby? What makes a rugby player?
I think, for us Americans, that's kind of one of the, top things that we really need to focus on, I guess, as a nation. Those ball skills, those kind of, elite kind of, just seeing the field, I guess, and being able to hit those 2-on-1s, kind of pass into space, like you said, kind of, make the thing happen and kind of facilitate for our other guys. Something that we need to focus on, as a nation. But kind of looking ahead now, you boys have 2 more matches before the playoff, and obviously that's the main focus for you at the moment. But what are your rugby aspirations, right? You kind of talk about putting your head down, grinding, playing this game at a high level and trying to reach that. What do those aspirations look like for you? Kind of what is that moving forward?
Well, number one is like, I want to continue to start this year. I want to continue to start. I want to continue to contribute where I can. And the goal is to win the Shield this year. We're going for the Shield this year. And I have no doubt that if we really pull together, we all put our head down and grind and work together, we can, without a doubt. It's just, we can't beat ourselves, because that's what it comes down to a lot of the time is, which team is going to come out on top and really execute everything the best that they can, right? So if we pull it together, I have no doubt that we're going to win the Shield. That's my first goal. Of course, I want to, go play for USA. I want to, get my caps and really start to build a career at the international level. I want to be able to go out and, do everything that I can to represent the United States and, play on the international level. And then, who knows, maybe a little further in my career, I do want to make it overseas somewhere. I'd like to go, play overseas, get that experience, get that life experience. I love to travel. Traveling is one of my favorite things to do in the world, and go experience different cultures and like see how those go. So if I could do that while playing rugby and doing something that I love, then since I was a kid, I've always said I want to travel the world doing something I love, and I'm doing it. So if I can continue to do that, then hell yeah. So do that. But I wanna hit 100 caps in the MLR. Um, it's a big goal of mine. Playing World Cups. I want to make the 2027, 2031 World Cups. Those are two of my big goals. And then just start to grow the next generation. I love to coach, so coaching is one of my passions as well. So continuing to help the next generation come up and give them the opportunities that I wish I had when I was younger. Like if I would have known about rugby, I probably would have never played football. I would have pursued rugby and actually given it my all from when I was a kid. And maybe it would have helped me now. Being able to have those basic skills already learned when I was a kid. Because I would always think like, if I was a kid, where would I be now? Like, if I was a kid playing rugby, where would I be now with my career? If I only learned at 17, I was pro at 19. What if I started when I was 14, 13, 12? So who knows? So I want to coach. Continue to give back and to help the youth grow and do stuff like that. So just a couple little goals there.
No, that's great to hear, my man. Like as a younger guy, like especially being an American too, a lot of us, try and get to that professional stage, and then once we kind of get there, it's keeping that ground, but not trying to really excel in that stage, right? It really looks like, and you have been excelling in that stage at the professional level, being able to kind of get that first cap and make your break, I guess. It's been really cool to watch, and I'm really excited to kind of see the rest of your journey and kind of how that plays out for you. Devin, it's been great to talk to you today and, get all your information, kind of, your outlook on the game, your perspective of kind of how the season's going for you guys, and obviously how the game's working out for yourself. Great to hear how you want to, grow the game in the future, make those World Cups. I'll definitely be at those World Cups here in the USA, so we'll see you there. My last question for you here today is, we've talked about all these kinds of things. You can take a second to think about it, but what advice do you have for kind of those younger players trying to get these high-level opportunities in the US?
I think goes along with kind of what I would have told myself when I was a kid. Focus on the basics. Don't worry about scoring the tries, being flashy, doing it for yourself. Like focus on what can you contribute to the team. How are you gonna work hard yourself in order to contribute to the team? Because rugby is a team sport. Probably the biggest team sport you'll ever play in your entire life. Like no other sport do you have 15 players aside with no coach on the sideline telling you what to do. Like you're out there, you're playing for each other, you're making tackles, you're getting in line. If one person doesn't shoot, if one person shoots out of the line, someone's breaking. If someone doesn't shoot at the same time as everyone else, someone's breaking. If you're late to get up off the ground to get back in line, someone's breaking. So it's like, how are you gonna best show up for yourself to then show up for your team? You know what I mean? Because rugby's not a game of egos. It's not a game of egos. It's not a game of me. It's all about what can I contribute to the team to help us win. So just making sure that you keep reiterating that. You keep making sure that you're on the same page when you talk about that. You know what I mean? And drop the egos. Like that's the biggest thing that I would say to kids coming up is like drop the ego. It's not about you. It's about the team.
That's a beautiful piece of advice right there. And, it's really great to reiterate that. Like, this is probably the most team-oriented sport in the world, right? 15 aside, like you said, no kind of coach. And, it's our bodies versus the other guy's bodies, right? Like 23 versus 23 straight up. Who's going to hit harder? Who's going to pass into space better? Who's bringing more energy on that given day, right? So, put your head down, grind, drop the egos at the door, and give it your all on the pitch for your boys. Great piece of advice there from you, and great to kind of push that to the younger guys. Devin, it's been great to talk to you today, and thanks for coming on. Appreciate you coming on again, and best of luck in the future, my friend.
Appreciate you for having me, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All righty. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
All righty. Interview there with our guy Devin Short. Just phenomenal to hear kind of his journey, how he's kind of progressed through the ranks as an American, born player, getting kind of into those first 7 years of the MLR, matching, the MLR with its seasons under his belt. Great to hear kind of his journey and kind of how that's played out for him. Next, we're going to move on to Mack Mason, who we've actually talked to before. So we're going to go ahead and give him an invite here now, and then we'll go ahead and get him on here. Mack's the leading point scorer in the MLR, and he has been all season. We're going to go ahead and talk to him about that a little bit today, and then a little bit more also about the season, of course, moving into these last 2 games and into the playoff. Mack's also been named the vice captain recently too, so really excited to talk to him and just see how he's felt the season's progressed the last few weeks, and then how that's going to play out in the next few weeks there for the Seawolves. So really excited for that, and hopefully we'll get him on here in just a second. Great interview with Devin there again, kind of just hearing his story, stuff like that. It's really great to hear from a fellow American-born player. So thanks for joining again today, guys. Seems like we have a lot of people on the live today. Joining, maybe leaving for a little bit and then coming back. But great to have you guys on here today, and thanks for joining us. Mentioned this at the beginning, but we're going to have a big announcement coming at the end of the week. Waiting for Mack here, so we'll get started in a second. But big announcement coming at the end of the week for Barstool Rugby as a group here. Something big coming up this weekend, and I'm excited to announce that in the next few days. Keep your eye out on the Instagram page, and we'll go ahead and get that blasted here soon. Looking to get Mack on here and start our interview. Had some difficulties with the Wi-Fi there, and hopefully we'll be good for this one to finish it off. But gonna have Mack join us here and talk to us a little bit about the game, the season, and himself, of course, like you guys know. So excited for that, and we'll get started here in just a second. And here we go. Oh, messed that up, I think. Should be good to go here in the next few seconds. Always have some issues figuring this out for whatever reason. I think we're just going back and forth trying to accept and request join the live, so we'll get started here soon. Probably just sitting there waiting too. We got to get this figured out here. Unable to join there, it looks like, and I go ahead and invite him once again. Here we go. Mack, how's it going, my guy?
Good, mate. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
We got there now.
Yeah, always happens. Always happens. It's so always gonna have some issues, but no worries there. So Mack, great to have you on again. Been a few weeks, but how you feeling after the game, after the match on the weekend?
Not too bad. I think we probably didn't play the way we wanted to against Houston. They played quite well, and yeah, we sort of fell into a bit of a trap down there in the heat, and got pretty lucky to get that close. I think towards the end there, I think the amount of errors and turnovers we made, we probably didn't deserve to get that close. So pretty disappointing.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, it was a great game of rugby overall, but also when you take away kind of those small things that you guys had that could have pushed you above above the win. It's kind of tough to watch and tough to see. But great rugby nonetheless, and was able to really hone in on some of those attacking phases, I guess, from you guys. The game was there for you guys quite a bit there in the game, and I think making those little adjustments moving into this week is going to be, very beneficial for you guys. And I think you'll be able to pull it out moving into these last 2 weeks. So very excited to watch you guys. So I had a chance to talk to Mack actually a few weeks ago. And for those of you who didn't see our interview, Mack's an established rugger with a sniper for a leg. Played all kinds of rugby, including a stint in Super Rugby. This is his 3rd season in the MLR with Seattle. First with Seattle, and he's currently leading the league with points scored in the season. Mack had 2 conversions and 2 penalty kicks on the weekend, and now finds himself as the back of the match for this week. So great to have you on and great to talk about that today. Of course, we talked about that. It's always tough to travel, especially when the weather changes so drastically, right? Coming from the Pacific Northwest down to the desert in Texas, it's a huge change there. So what was that like for you guys having to travel down there? How do you kind of, change your game a little bit, I guess, adapt to the weather as a guy who has to touch the ball so much with the hands and the feet?
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one because I've always played in heat, and then coming to Seattle, we haven't really had the heat until probably last week. So we've travelled away to New Orleans, we lost that game, and then we travelled to Houston and lost that game in the heat. So we're doing probably something a little bit wrong, but we're probably not too far off. I think the biggest thing is just to travel, just drink as much water and get like as much food in, carbs as you can, just fuel your body and get ready to go. But yeah, as far as it comes to heat, I think if you start to think about it straight away, then I think you've already lost the game. So everyone has to play in those conditions, and that's the way we sort of look at it.
Definitely. No, and it's the heat and the freezing cold, right? It's kind of two absolutes that you got to just not focus on in the game. There's usually not a day where you're playing beautiful rugby, unless, of course, you're in Seattle. Every once in a while, we get a beautiful there. So, it's cool to kind of see, how you guys travel and how you're able to do that. Obviously, coming back to Tukwila this weekend, big matchup against RFCLA. Last 2 weeks of the season, what are you guys looking to kind of do? Takeaways from this last match, moving into this next one. What's the game plan there?
The biggest thing this weekend is probably restricting turnovers. We gave Houston too much ball and easy ball, like not kicking the ball out, knock-ons or whatever it is, running into touch. I think LA have a lot of good players in their team actually, and I think if they click, they're a pretty dangerous team. So I think we stick to our structure and play on top and play in the right areas. I think we'll be fine this weekend against LA, but they do have a lot of dangerous players from 1 to 15, really.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And we talked about that, earlier. Like all 15 guys are there for a reason, right? We kind of said that before. All these first 23 guys are on the field for a reason, and they have guys like Jason Dam out there getting some starts with USA. Some real forces on the field there. So it's going to be a real exciting match for you guys. We've already played in this year a few times, and excited to see this matchup yet again. Obviously, we talked about this last time, and you train the foot quite a bit, behind the scenes there. What's it like to make those quick decisions on the field at 10? Is it a flip of the switch or, more of a plan that kind of goes into play when you see fit?
Bit of a flip of the switch. I think you obviously pick up cues as you go along the way, like whether a defender's turning his hips in or he's turning his shoulders out, or even having a spot defender in the week. So someone you want to target as either they're slower or get a bit tighter in the end of the game. There's always those sort of guys that you sort of look to go after and play around with, but it's also trained as well, the running lines and our structures and our plays that we're calling on the run. But yeah, a lot of it comes down to playing what's in front of you, and I think you just get better at that over time. So yeah, that's what it comes down to, I think.
Definitely. No, and the last time talking to you is really, great to hear kind of how you think about the game, right? And how you, think about your training and how you go about it, right? We talked about having a purpose for your thing, really going out there with a goal in mind, I guess, of what you want to get done that day. And, it really pays off on the field for you, and your foot's just been, elite this season. We saw that, that try there late in the game. You had a kick over to, I believe, Jay, made the corner, whoever it was, got a crazy try there. We were able to see kind of how your, preparation goes into play. So it's just been great to see that. Kind of talking about this Saturday, moving up to this match. You guys are gonna be rocking the city kit for the first time this year. Holding your last, you're holding your last run with the pack kids camp for the year before the game as well. Seattle's known to have amazing fan base, and I think it's because of this kind of thing that you guys do with the community, how you guys connect with them and those kind of things. What's the weekend look like for the fans? How's that gonna come into play for them?
Yeah, this week they've obviously got run with the pack again, which is a really big thing. Players that aren't playing in the 23 will be out there running drills and getting the kids involved. And hopefully a lot of them haven't played rugby before, and hopefully there's a fair few people that are returning. So you also want a bit of you want that mix of new people and then the ones that keep coming to each game in and out. And we are pretty lucky to have a really good crowd there each week at Starfire. We do get a lot of people down there, and then just a special jersey. I think there's a lot of meaning behind it. I don't know who designed it or anything, but there's obviously a lot of meaning that goes into the city jersey, and I'm pretty sure they all go up for auction after this game, or I'm not too sure when they get announced, but yeah, they do go up for auction.
Yes, sir. No, and I'll definitely be bidding on that Mack Mason jersey. You best believe it.
That'll be good.
Gonna have to try and get that. We'll see what goes on with that. But exciting weekend of rugby, like we said. A lot of events and stuff, and you guys have done a really great job this year of connecting with the community, trying to build that rugby world, right? Because a lot of people in the MLR, in these different cities that we have, San Diego, LA, Seattle, Texas, all over the place. Some of these people don't know that they have a professional rugby team in their back. right? And we kind of talked about that last time, and it's, great to see how you guys are really trying to grow the game, get those people, into the community that you guys have there. And it's just been great to see. Recently, you were named, vice captain of the squad, been able to, take that kind of role. And that speaks to kind of a piece of you that I saw last interview was that you're really, focused on the team, right? It's a team game. The 15 guys in the field or the 14 guys on the field besides yourself are more important than obviously your kicks and, what kind of points you're scoring on the weekend. But what's that feeling like of being named the vice captain, and how have you taken that responsibility up with the boys?
Yeah, it's pretty big responsibility, but I think as a 9 and 10 or in those key positions, it sort of comes with the territory a little bit, and you get used to it over time. But then, yeah, it's just pretty much having the VC or the C next to your name doesn't change too much. You're allowed to talk to the ref a little bit more and hopefully control the game a little bit better. But refs never change their decision. What they make is the final decision. But no, it's really, it's a bit of a privilege to be in a leadership role, and just want to continue on. But there is plenty of leaders in our team that, across the board, there's not just a guy with the VC or the C on their jersey or on the playing sheet that week. It's there's 5 or 6 guys that also could lead the team out. So it's a bit of a collective thing with the whole team.
Yeah, no, I love to hear that, right? Because this game is about the team, like we talk about a lot, and it's cool to see kind of how you guys come together as a squad. The starting 15 changes here and there every couple of weeks, right? I think 4 changes in the forward pack a few weeks ago, and a couple in the backs as well. It looks like you guys are real tight as a squad, as a community there. What have you been able to see kind of with the additions over the past few weeks? How's that culture kind of changed and grown, I guess?
Yeah, I think the culture hasn't really changed. I think they actually add a little bit of energy, to be honest. We're probably a bit flat there. We started the season really well, had a bye week, lost a couple of games. And then we started to travel back and forth. And travel in America is quite tough. Like, you're traveling pretty much all day, especially from Seattle. Like, if you're going to Texas or New Orleans or wherever you're going, even to Boston, you're going for the whole day, 2 hours at the airport, then whatever the flight is, and another 2 hours, then into the hotel. So the travel was a bit, wearing us down a little bit, but all the additions that have came in pretty much, since the major injuries that put a lot of guys that were starting out have really put their foot forward and added a lot of spark and a little bit of character too to the team as well. With Devin and Manate, they both they got a lot of character, a lot about them.
Yes, sir. No, and I've seen that on the Instagram too, right? Like Manate posted a few videos of the travel and stuff with the boys. It's just been funny to watch. I think his way of kind of helping grow the game too with the videos and kind of trying to grow the community still too. It's just a great way to do it. It's really cool to see kind of how he's really been able to buy himself into the team, and you guys have really taken him and the other guys too kind of into that squad. So it's been really cool to see that. Talking about, moving into that role right before the playoffs, obviously can't be an easy task for you. Obviously, you mentioned that VC means nothing unless you really take that role for what it is. And there's also other guys in the squad who, provide what you need as a leader, all across the board. What are you and the boys focused on and looking forward to over the next few weeks? Making improvements, last 2 games moving into the playoffs. What are you trying to get into, or what are you trying to do to get into that playoff form?
Momentum's a big thing. I think, we go into these 2 games just treating them like finals, because obviously every game after this season, then you have to win every game. You have to win 3 in a row to win the championship. So pretty much go into this weekend looking like it's a final and treating it like it's a final, and not probably respecting LA as much as we can, knowing that they're at finals contention, but we still got to show something, especially for our fans. Like, this might be our last game at home this year. Hopefully not, but pretty much just treating it like a finals game each game from now on in, and get the ball rolling with the momentum.
Yes. No, I love to hear that, right? It's a great thing, a great feeling, I guess, as a squad to have, a little bit of that momentum, some of that energy from those wins kind of rolling you into the next, the next match, I guess, right? And, treating these like a final is really putting the mindset into, fruition, I guess. It's really needed over these next few weeks. And, San Diego Legion is going to bring everything they got to try and get that 2 seed from you guys next weekend. That one's going to be a great match as well, and I'm really looking forward to watching that one. It's got a lot of playoff predicaments there. Win and get the 2 seed, lose and get the 3 seed. It's either going to be back in San Diego that July 20th match or back in Tukwila. So crazy to kind of come down to that, but it's going to be great to watch, and I think it's really cool to see 2 powerful teams like that facing off the end of the season, bringing everything you guys have done all over the year and kind of bringing it to one kind of point, I guess,
Yeah.
and then finish kind of the season off like that. So it's going to be great to watch. And obviously we've already heard about your rugby story and stuff, and so I don't. But I've been following you a lot this season, and since our last interview, I told myself I would really ask you more about your preparation, how you kind of go about that, and what you're thinking, throughout the season. So, one of the things I wanted to ask, the playoffs are coming up, two big games, in the way of that. But what does your personal preparation look like for the playoffs? You're getting ready to win or go home. What does that look like? What kind of things are you focusing on at this point in the year?
This point of the year, it's more like you've done everything you've had to do. You should know all your play sheets and all your play calls and what's happening, but it more comes down to the individual and then owning the team stuff as well. So for me, my Monday's pretty much a lot of meetings and either looking at the review that's just gone in the week, whether it was good or bad, and nitpicking at that a little bit, and then go look forward to the next week. So this week we'd play LA, so we've looked into LA on Monday. Tuesday's pretty much a big day. That's our big content day with a lot of running back in the gym. Looking to move forward, freshen up the legs a little bit. And then Wednesday, we usually have off. So we'll have a Wednesday off. But the 9s and 10s usually will do a bit of goal kicking or kicking out of hand for about an hour or two on a Wednesday, just to pretty much a specialist area in our game. So we have to keep ticking that over. And then Thursday, it's more about knowing what I haven't really ticked off during the week, whether that's contact or making a few tackles one-on-one or kicking, still continue goal kicking. I'll goal kick 3 or 4 times a week usually. And then captain's run, I like to feel like everything's sort of done by then. So we're ready to go for Saturday. Captain's run, I try to be on my feet as little as possible and get away from rugby a fair bit that day, knowing you've prepared and done everything you can for the next day. Then on game day, it's all pretty much leading into the game really from there. But yeah, my preparation doesn't really change from week to week at all, from the start to the finish. I'm probably fortunate now. I've played a lot of professional footy and I know what my routines are and what my week should look like. But young guys, it takes you like 4 or 5, 6 years for you to figure out exactly what makes you feel best at the end of the week. And you can always have excuses, but if you prepared well and you didn't play well, there's nothing that can really bring you down there. So if you prepare well in the week, you'll be right on the weekend and go out there and play freely.
There you go. No, it's great to hear kind of how you think about that, right? This kind of level in your career, you've played, a lot of professional, rugby, as you've said. You kind of know those structures and how that kind of works out for you. At this level, is there anything that you really see, that you aren't like mastered about yourself, right? There's a lot of things about yourself as a rugby player that you can focus on, like kicking, passing, the mindset, maybe the nutrition side. Is there anything that you are trying to hone in and kind of focus on, maybe make improvements on at this point? Or are you kind of at that level at this point?
For me at the moment, actually, it's slowing my feet down a little bit, going too quick, trying to make myself make decisions on the run a little bit too fast. So if I slow my feet down just a tad, even pull it back, even take it 2 steps deeper, I can make the right decision instead of make a rush decision. So yeah, that's my biggest thing at the moment, just playing a little bit slower and playing quick when I have to, but also playing a little bit slower and even deeper at the line instead of going to the line all the time.
Very interesting. No, I love to hear that too, right? It's like, got to focus on those kind of things. And I think it's great to hear how, a guy at your level of the game, looks at those kind of things, right? Because you can always say like, man, I'm kicking the ball over the place. I'm making these great passes and it's working out really well for my team. And then, kind of just not focus on those kind of things, right? Like at that level, you can really, take, I guess, those things for granted a little bit and really kind of fall off. And it looks like you're not at all, right? You're really going into it, saying like, I need to make improvements still too. I'm at this level of my game, but my guys beside me are making improvements in their game, and I kind of need to, move forward with mine. So it's great to hear kind of how you think about that and go about that. Max, it's been great to talk to you today again about rugby, just chopping it up a little bit. Last
Cheers,
question on the day. You're still leading the league in points scored, have been since week 1. You said, don't look at that too much, but, with the season coming to a close, obviously we're going to win the Shield, and I'll see you guys in the MLR final.
Yeah, that's the plan.
But, besides that, after the season, is there any kind of reward you're looking to get yourself, league point score? What are you looking for the summertime, kind of enjoying, how the season went?
Yeah, obviously I just want to win. That's pretty much all it comes down to. I want to be in San Diego on the 4th of August. That's my pretty much main priority at the moment. But for me, after the season's going straight home, back to work on the ranch, station, farm, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so as soon as I'm done here, I'll go back to reality for a bit.
There we go. There you go. No, that's great to hear too, man. Mack, it's been great to talk to you again today. Thanks for coming on and joining us, and thank you for your time as always.
Cheers, mate.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
See ya.
All right, guys. Barstool Rugby fans, great day of interviews there. Had Mack Mason on, and we had Devin Short on to start with. Two great interviews there, and it's just great to talk to them and kind of see their rugby, outlook, I guess. They're in a tight point in the season right here, trying to find that second spot, that second seed in the Western Conference, and moving into the playoffs, getting into that playoff form. It's been great to hear from them and kind of how they think about those kind of things. If you guys want to, we have plenty of other interviews on the page right now from other players of the Seawolves, other teams as well. But, just talking about kind of that mindset of the game. If you're a young rugby player, you're trying to figure out, what you can do to improve on your game. My advice to you would be to watch these interviews and go find their advice, right? Because I'm on here. My goal is to get, the best outlook, I guess, the best perspective from these high-level players and really just kind of see how they go about their game in order for it to improve ours, right? I'm still a rugby player at the level, trying to make it to the high level, right? Playing college right now at the University of Utah, but there's still a lot of stuff that I can improve on in my game, and that's kind of why I really hone in on trying to get these guys to talk about that a little bit and just kind of see how they go about it. So it's been great to talk to them about that, and great to have you guys on here today as well. Thank you for joining us. Next week, we'll have another man of the match interview after the RFC LA match this Saturday. Seawolves will be back at home this Saturday, so go ahead and watch that match. You can go ahead and watch on the Rugby Network. And then also at the end of this week, like I said, big announcement coming Thursday night, Friday morning. Look for that on the Instagram. We'll be shouting out there, and some big news coming from us this weekend. So hopefully you guys can tune in this weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. Barstool Rugby fans.